Welcome to part 2 of the City of Tallahassee's video series for the Neighborhood Plan for Readiness and Emergency Preparedness Program, also known as PREP. This is the completion of our storm preparation training for neighborhood leaders, but stay tuned as we will roll out additional preparedness videos that will benefit everyone in Tallahassee. This video will guide you through modules 1 through 4 of the Neighborhood Prep Toolkit, which is available for download at talgov.com/prep. Here, you will learn how to form a neighborhood response team, develop a disaster resource directory, help protect neighbors with special needs, and how to build a disaster supplies kit. This year, our storm preparation activities are occurring during the community's response to COVID-19. As we discuss the modules of the Neighborhood Prep Toolkit, listen for tips and ideas about how you, as neighborhood leaders, can work with your neighbors in a COVID-19 compliant manner to plan for the upcoming hurricane season. Module 1. Form a neighborhood response team. Neighborhoods that want to develop a neighborhood prep plan are encouraged to start a planning committee to lead the effort. There is no set size for the planning committee. The number of neighborhood prep modules your neighborhood wants to complete and the availability of volunteers to help complete that work will influence how large your planning committee should be. One of the main responsibilities of the Planning Committee is to form a neighborhood response team. The Neighborhood Response Team, or NRT, is a network of neighborhood volunteers that serves two key roles in the event of an emergency. The first is to serve as the primary point of contact between the Planning Committee and neighbors. The second is to serve as the coordinator for specific response activities for the neighborhood, such as first aid delivery or damage assessment. Members of the NRT can serve as block captains to oversee communication efforts on their block or street, or they can work on a team to assist a block captain in relaying storm preparation and response information to residents on their assigned blocks. Neighborhoods with an established crime watch may want to recruit block captains from that group. Members of the NRT can also serve as branch coordinators to oversee the activities of a specific branch. A branch is a group of volunteers who assist with specific activity or functions for a neighborhood, such as food and water delivery or debris removal. To organize your planning committee and neighborhood response team while keeping in line with social distancing practices, we encourage you to use email blast or create a phone tree system to recruit volunteers from your neighborhood. Once volunteers are recruited, meetings can be held through both virtual meetings and conference calls. Develop a neighborhood resource directory. Storm preparation and response takes an enormous amount of resources. In many instances, neighbors are willing to help each other, which can be critical during an emergency. The problem many neighborhoods face is knowing who can help and how. Module 2 of the Neighborhood Prep Toolkit focuses on the development of a resource directory, which provides a coordinated way to identify the resources and skills each person has that could be useful in the event of a natural disaster. First responders may not be available to immediately assist your neighborhood right after a storm, so it is important for neighbors to find ways to help each other. A resource directory is a listing of neighbors who are willing to help prepare for and recover from a storm by loaning supplies or offering their skills. For example, the resource directory can list neighbors with carpentry skills who would be willing to help with minor carpentry work, as well as neighbors with chainsaws who are willing to help clear driveways. The resource directory can be used before, during, and after an emergency. It should include contact information for the NRT, a supply inventory, a list that identifies neighbors with specific skills, and a list that identifies households with individuals with special needs. Information for the resource directory can be gathered through household surveys and modified to best fit the needs of your neighborhood. Again, to maintain proper social distancing practices, planning committee members can develop the resource directory without physical contact with their neighbors. Surveys can be emailed to neighborhood residents, discussed during a virtual neighborhood meeting, or completed through an online tool like SurveyMonkey or JotForm. You could also call neighbors to gather this information. As surveys are completed by residents, the results can be recorded, sorted, and placed in the directory. Special Needs Registry. Senior citizens and people with disabilities often need additional assistance during natural disasters. When hurricanes threaten the area, the safety of these vulnerable citizens can be a huge concern. Module 3 encourages neighborhood leaders to share information with their neighbors about the Florida Special Needs Registry. Citizens who need special assistance with evacuation and sheltering because of age, disability, or other special needs should consider registering for the Florida Special Needs Registry. All information you provide is confidential and protected under Florida statutes. Special needs shelters are intended to provide, to the extent possible under emergency conditions, an environment that can sustain an individual's level of health. If you are aware of a neighbor who requires a high level of medical care or depends on electricity for life-sustaining medical equipment, you should consider encouraging that individual to register for the special needs shelter. It is important to remember that completing the Florida Special Needs Registry does not, however, automatically qualify an individual for a special needs shelter. To increase awareness and practice social distancing guidelines, your planning committee can share information about the Special Needs Registry with your neighbors by sending information about the registry through email flyers, publicizing the registry in your neighborhood association newsletter, discussing the registry during virtual neighborhood meetings, phone calls, and social media. Interested residents can register online at snr.floridadisaster.org. For further information with registration, call Leon County Division of Emergency Management at 850-606-3700. Module 4. Build a Disaster Supplies Kit. When a storm or disaster strikes, it is important for families to have the proper supplies they need to survive in the event of power loss, flooding, or other impacts. Being prepared means having enough food, water, and supplies to last your family for at least 5 to 7 days or longer. Knowing that resources are available in case of an emergency provides an added sense of security during a difficult time. The final discussion in this video focuses on Module 4, which encourages neighbors to build a disaster supplies kit. A disaster supplies kit is a collection of important items a person or household may need in the event of a disaster. Kits will vary from family to family based on individual needs. For example, a family with small children should include crayons and non-electric games in their kit to help keep children entertained. A family with a member who relies on medication should include those supplies as well as contact information for their doctor and pharmacy in their kit. Each family member should have their own disaster supplies kit located in an area of the home where it can be easily accessed in case you need to grab it on the go. Supplies in your kit should be checked at least every 6 months to replace any items that may have expired. A disaster supplies kit should be kept in an easy-to-carry container, such as a backpack, duffel bag, or bucket, preferably made of durable, weather-resistant material such as plastic. Neighborhood leaders can provide information to their neighbors about building a disaster supplies kit by hosting virtual meetings to demonstrate how to assemble the kits. During the demonstration, provide neighbors with the recommended list of items that each family should have. You can also share this information via phone calls or your neighborhood's social media accounts. Here are a few recommended items to include in a disaster supplies kit. Non-perishable food, enough to last at least 5 to 7 days. Water, enough to last at least 5 to 7 days. First aid kit, include any medications you may need. Personal hygiene and sanitation items. Flashlights, with extra batteries. Complete change of clothes. Battery-operated radio with extra batteries. Manual can opener. Books, magazines, and games. Cooler and ice packs. Waterproof container with cash and important documents. Current contact information and photos. This concludes the city's Neighborhood Prep video series for neighborhood leaders. Thank you for making Tallahassee a safer, more resilient community. For more details about the PREP program, contact the City of Tallahassee Neighborhood Affairs Division at 850-891-8795 or visit talgov.com/PREP.